There are few experiences in life more painful than being hurt by someone you trusted. The sting of betrayal, the weight of disappointment, the wound of broken trust, these are not just passing emotions. They cut deep into the heart, and they linger long after the moment has passed. When you are hurt, the natural instinct is to hold on to that pain, to replay the moment over and over, to keep it alive in your memory as a form of self-protection. But what we don't realize is that holding on to pain doesn't protect us. It imprisons us. The anger, the bitterness, the resentment, they begin to occupy your soul, and instead of healing, you carry the wound with you everywhere you go. This is why forgiveness matters. Forgiveness is not about the other person, it is about you. Forgiveness is not about saying, what you did was okay. It is not about excusing the betrayal or diminishing the pain. Forgiveness is about choosing to set yourself free from the burden of carrying that pain with you every single day. When you forgive, you are not letting them off the hook. You are letting yourself off the hook. You are reclaiming your peace, your joy, and your power. Because as long as you hold on to anger, the person who hurt you continues to have power over you, even in their absence. Forgiveness breaks that chain. But here is the mistake many people make. They confuse forgiveness with permission. They think that if you forgive someone, it means you must also welcome them back into your life. They think forgiveness means giving them another chance to repeat the same hurt. That is not true. Forgiveness and permission are not the same thing. You can forgive someone fully in your heart and still choose never to let them close enough to hurt you again. Forgiveness is about releasing the pain, but boundaries are about protecting your future. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks everywhere you go. Each rock represents a hurt, a betrayal, a disappointment. Over time, the weight becomes unbearable. Forgiveness is the act of setting that backpack down. It doesn't mean you invite the same person to load more rocks into it. It means you choose to walk lighter, freer, unburdened. The lesson remains, the memory remains, but the pain no longer controls you. That is the power of forgiveness without permission. There are people who will apologize just to gain access again, not because they have truly changed. Words can be deceiving, but patterns do not lie. If someone has hurt you once, they have already shown you their character. Believe what they showed you. Forgiveness allows you to release the anger, but wisdom teaches you not to give them another opportunity to do the same thing again. You are not obligated to keep opening the door to someone who has proven they cannot be trusted inside your home. Forgiveness does not require reconciliation. Forgiveness is freedom, but boundaries are survival. This truth becomes clear when you realize that the people who hurt you are not the ones who carry the weight of the pain. You are. They move on with their lives, often unaware or indifferent to the depth of your wound. Meanwhile, you replay it in your heart, you carry it in your thoughts, you let it shape your self-worth. Forgiveness severs that tie. It says, you no longer control my emotions, my peace, or my future. But that act of forgiveness does not mean you forget the lesson. If you touch a flame and it burns you, you forgive the fire for hurting you, but you also learn not to put your hand into it again. Some people will tell you that to forgive is to forget. That is wrong. To forgive is to release, but to forget is to invite repetition. You must remember what you went through, not with bitterness but with clarity, because the past is a teacher, and its lessons protect you from repeating cycles that could destroy you. Forgiveness frees your heart, but remembrance protects your future. Think about the moments in your life when you have chosen to hold on to pain. Did it make you stronger, or did it weigh you down? Did it allow you to grow, or did it keep you trapped in the same place? Now think about the moments when you finally let go, the moment when you released someone from your anger, when you stopped replaying the hurt, when you decided you deserved peace more than you deserved revenge. Didn't it feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders? That is the power of forgiveness. But notice that in those moments, letting go did not mean running back into the arms of the person who hurt you. It meant moving forward without them. It meant choosing yourself over your pain. Forgiveness without permission is one of the greatest forms of self-love. It says, I will not let what you did to me define me. I will not carry your mistake as my identity. I will not waste years of my life trying to punish you with my bitterness. I forgive you, but I protect me. That is the balance of strength and wisdom. Forgiveness is strength because it takes courage to release pain when it feels easier to hold on. Boundaries are wisdom because they prevent history from repeating itself. Some people may not understand this. They may pressure you to give second chances. They may tell you that everyone deserves forgiveness. And they are right. Everyone does deserve forgiveness, but not everyone deserves your trust again. Not everyone deserves access to your heart again. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table again. You can forgive them from a distance, wish them well from afar, release the anger in your heart, and still choose never to let them that close again. That is not cruelty, that is wisdom. When you learn to forgive without granting permission, you step into a new level of power. You realize that forgiveness is not weakness, it is strength. It takes far more strength to let go of resentment than it does to hold on. But you also realize that protecting yourself is not selfish. It is survival. You have one life, one heart, one soul. Do not waste it on people who have already shown you they do not know how to treat it with care. Think of the times in your life when you ignored the first sign, when you gave someone a second, third, or fourth chance after they hurt you. What happened? Most likely, the hurt repeated itself, because history has a way of repeating until we learn the lesson. Forgiveness without permission is the lesson learned. It is the moment you decide, I forgive you for the past, but I will not give you the chance to hurt my future. Forgiveness is freedom because it removes the chain that ties you to the hurt. But forgiveness is not permission because your freedom must also include protection. It is about balance, release and boundaries, peace and wisdom, letting go and moving on. That is the true power of forgiveness. Trust is one of the most valuable currencies in human relationships. It is something fragile, precious, and powerful. Once given, it carries the weight of expectation and hope. But trust is not something that can be secured by words alone. Words are easy. Promises roll off the tongue effortlessly. People can swear their loyalty. They can vow their honesty. They can make you believe in their intentions with beautifully crafted sentences. But true trust is not built in what people say. It is built in what they do. Promises are temporary sounds, but actions are lasting proof. Think about how many times you have been promised something only to be left disappointed. Someone said they would never leave, but they walked away. Someone promised to support you, but they vanished when you needed them most. Someone vowed to change, but their behavior stayed exactly the same. It hurts because we wanted to believe their words. We wanted their promises to be true. But reality always reveals itself through actions, not through speeches. Trust cannot survive on words. It breathes only when actions give it life. When you want to know who someone truly is, don't listen to what they tell you. Watch what they show you. Actions are the mirror of the soul. Words can be manipulated, but behavior cannot hide for long. A person can promise kindness but treat others with cruelty. They can promise loyalty but disappear in your time of need. They can promise respect but consistently cross your boundaries. When someone's actions contradict their words, believe their actions. They tell the truth their promises try to cover. There is a saying that anyone can promise you the moon, but only those who are genuine will show you stars, one by one, through consistent effort. Words can paint pictures of castles in the air, but actions build foundations that you can stand on. Trust is not something that comes from hearing the right words once. It comes from seeing the right actions over and over again, especially when it is difficult to deliver them. Imagine someone tells you they care about you. That's nice to hear, but what happens when you need them? Do they show up? Do they call? Do they make time? Imagine someone tells you they respect you. That sounds beautiful, but do they listen to your boundaries? Do they honor your no? Do they treat you as an equal? Imagine someone tells you they will always be honest. Those words are powerful, but when the truth is uncomfortable, do they still tell it? This is where trust is built or broken. It is not in the promises, it is in the pattern of behavior. Consistency is the backbone of trust. Anyone can act kind for a day, anyone can keep a promise once, anyone can show up in the beginning. But the test of trust is not what happens in the first chapter. It is what happens again and again, especially when circumstances change. Does the person remain true when it is inconvenient? Do they stay loyal when no one is watching? Do they hold to their word when the cost is high? This is what proves character, and character is the only soil where trust can grow. When someone has already shown you a pattern of broken promises, you must accept what they are telling you through their behavior. Trust is not something you can keep giving away in the hope that their words will one day match their actions. Hope without evidence becomes self-destruction. Believing words over actions blinds you to the truth that is right in front of you. When someone tells you with their actions that they are unreliable, believe them. When someone shows you through their behavior that they cannot be trusted, stop giving them opportunities to prove it again. The human heart is often tempted by potential. We hear promises and we think, maybe this time they will change, maybe this time it will be different, maybe this time their words will come true. But potential is not reality. You cannot trust someone based on what they might become. You can only trust them based on what they consistently show you they already are. People reveal themselves every day through the choices they make. If those choices contradict their promises, then their words are empty. Do not let empty words blind you to visible truths. Trust is sacred. It is the foundation of love, friendship, business, and every meaningful connection. Without it, relationships collapse under the weight of disappointment. But when it exists, it gives people the freedom to be vulnerable, the courage to take risks, and the security to grow together. That is why it cannot be treated lightly. You cannot give it away just because someone knows how to say the right things. You cannot rebuild it just because someone swears they are different. Trust must be earned by actions that prove reliability, and it must be maintained by consistency over time. When you are deciding whether to trust someone, pay attention to the small things. How do they treat people who cannot offer them anything in return? How do they speak about others when those people are not around? Do they follow through on the little promises that seem insignificant? Because if someone cannot be trusted with small matters, how can they be trusted with big ones? Trust is not about the grand gestures. It is about the quiet consistency of daily actions. It is easy to say, "I'll be there for you." It is harder to actually show up when it is inconvenient. It is easy to say, "I respect you." It is harder to honor someone's boundaries when you disagree with them. It is easy to say, "I'll change." It is harder to actually make sacrifices and commit to new habits. The gap between words and actions is where trust is built or destroyed. Watch the gap closely. The danger in believing promises without actions is that you set yourself up for repeated hurt. Each time you allow someone's words to outweigh their behavior, you allow yourself to be misled. Eventually, you start to lose trust not just in them, but in yourself. You begin to question your own judgment, your own worth, your own ability to recognize sincerity. That is why it is so important to align your trust with actions, not promises. Because when you do, you protect your peace, your confidence, and your self-respect. Trust proven by actions is unshakable. When someone consistently shows up, when their behavior matches their words, when they prove themselves reliable in small and big ways, you feel safe. You don't have to question their intentions. You don't have to replay their promises in your mind to find reassurance. Their actions speak louder than words ever could. That is the kind of trust that allows relationships to flourish. So the next time someone makes you a promise, don't rush to believe it. Smile, appreciate it, but wait for the proof. Watch the consistency, observe their patterns, trust slowly, based on what they show you. And if their actions don't align, don't make excuses for them. Don't rewrite their behavior with hopeful words. Believe what you see, not what you hear. The most dangerous people are not the ones who openly declare their betrayal. They are the ones who promise loyalty with their mouths while betraying it with their actions. Protect yourself by remembering that words cost nothing, but actions cost effort. Anyone can speak, not everyone can act. Actions are the true measure of character, and only character deserves trust. Every person in this world carries an immeasurable worth. That worth does not come from what others say about you. It does not come from the titles you hold, the possessions you own, or the applause you receive. It comes from the simple fact that you are here, alive, breathing, and capable of bringing something unique into this world. Yet, even though every individual is valuable, not everyone knows how to protect their worth. Many allow others to diminish it, abuse it, or take it for granted. The way you prevent that from happening is through boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to keep love out. They are fences to keep dignity in. They are the invisible lines you draw to say, "This is who I am, and this is what I will not allow." Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about teaching people how to treat you. If you do not define how others can interact with you, they will define it for themselves, and most often, it will be in ways that serve their needs, not yours. Boundaries are the blueprint you hand the world, instructing them on the respect you expect, the behavior you tolerate, and the space you require to grow. Without them, you risk becoming a doormat, someone who gives endlessly but receives little in return. Without them, you risk losing your sense of identity because you are constantly bending to please others. Protecting your worth with boundaries begins with recognizing that not everyone deserves access to you. Your energy, your time, and your heart are limited resources. Just because someone wants them does not mean they are entitled to them. Think of your life as a garden. If you allow anyone to walk in whenever they choose, some will admire the flowers, but others will trample them. Boundaries are the gate you put around your garden. They do not stop you from letting good people in, but they ensure you have the power to keep harmful people out. Too often, people feel guilty about setting boundaries. They fear being seen as cold, selfish, or unkind. But boundaries are not about cruelty. They are about clarity. When you draw a line, you are not pushing people away. You are simply communicating how you deserve to be treated. Those who truly respect you will honor your boundaries. Those who don't respect you will be offended by them. That reaction itself tells you who belongs in your life and who doesn't. When someone hurts you and you allow them to come back without consequences, you send a silent message: my worth can be compromised. When someone disrespects you and you excuse it, you send another message: my dignity is negotiable. When someone breaks your trust and you immediately welcome them back, you are teaching them that there are no limits to what they can take from you. This is why boundaries are not just important, they are essential. They are the way you protect your worth from being diminished by people who do not value it. Boundaries are not only about others, they are also about yourself. They are about the promises you keep to yourself, the standards you refuse to lower, the self-respect you refuse to abandon. If you tell yourself that you will no longer allow toxic energy into your life, then stick to it. If you tell yourself that you deserve respect, do not settle for less. If you tell yourself that your dreams and goals matter, then stop sacrificing them to meet everyone else's expectations. Boundaries are the commitments you make to yourself, and every time you honor them, you affirm your worth. Some people will test your boundaries. They will push against them, hoping you will bend. They will manipulate your emotions, guilt-trip you, or act offended when you enforce your standards. But every time you stand firm, you reinforce your value. Boundaries are not for the weak, they require courage. It takes strength to say no when you are pressured to say yes. It takes courage to walk away from someone you love when they refuse to respect you. It takes confidence to protect your time, your space, and your energy even when others call you selfish. But remember this: selfishness is taking from others without regard, while boundaries are protecting yourself with intention. Think about how much energy is wasted when you lack boundaries. You say yes to commitments you don't want, so you spend hours resenting them. You let people talk down to you, so you carry that insult for days. You forgive without limits, so you allow the same wound to open again and again. All of this drains your spirit and clouds your mind. But when you set boundaries, you regain control. You stop wasting energy on things that do not serve you. You stop letting people rent space in your head for free. You stop handing out pieces of your soul to those who haven't earned the privilege. Protecting your worth with boundaries is also about the future. Every time you enforce a boundary, you teach others how to treat you, not just now, but in every interaction to come. Boundaries create a culture around you, one where respect is the baseline and dignity is non-negotiable. If you allow disrespect once, you invite it again. But if you draw the line firmly the first time, you make it clear that your worth cannot be discounted. Boundaries also protect your ability to love. Without them, love becomes exploitation. Without them, generosity becomes depletion. Without them, compassion becomes manipulation. But with boundaries, love thrives, because it flows from a place of strength rather than desperation. You can give freely without fear of being taken advantage of. You can care deeply without losing yourself in the process. You can forgive without inviting repeated harm. Boundaries are what make love sustainable. The truth is, the people who belong in your life will never be pushed away by your boundaries. They will understand them. They will honor them. They will appreciate that you respect yourself enough to set them, and in turn, they will respect you even more. The ones who leave because of your boundaries are not a loss. They are a revelation. They show you that they were only there to take, not to give, and your boundaries expose that truth. There is great power in the word no. It is small, but it can transform your life. Saying no to what does not serve you creates space for what does. Saying no to disrespect creates space for respect. Saying no to toxic energy creates space for peace. Saying no to smallness creates space for greatness. Every no you give is actually a yes to yourself, and every yes to yourself reinforces your worth. You must never forget that your worth is not up for negotiation. It does not depend on who approves of you, who validates you, or who accepts you. Your worth is intrinsic, unshakable, and eternal. Boundaries are simply the guardrails that protect it from being eroded by those who cannot see it. When you live with boundaries, you stop asking for permission to be valued. You declare that you already are, and you demand that others treat you accordingly. Protecting your worth with boundaries is one of the highest forms of self-respect. It is a declaration to the world: I am valuable, I am deserving, and I will not settle for less than I deserve. It is not arrogance, it is awareness. It is not pride, it is preservation. And when you preserve your worth, you create a foundation for everything else in your life to flourish. Your relationships, your dreams, your peace, your happiness.